Hi, it's Nørgaard. So today I'm back with a new review. I am reviewing this Technic Conceal and Blend Concealer. So I recently picked this up. I thought it was super handy to have a little concealer stick with a sponge attached. And I do love the Technic Canvas Concealer. So I thought I would just give this a go. So in this video I will show you how this concealer applies. And I will also do a wear test. I was wearing this throughout the day today. So I will show you how it holds up throughout several hours. And I will let you know my thoughts. Now this concealer only comes in 3 shades. I have the lightest color called Light. And 3 shades is way too little, of course. Technic is still notorious for putting out super limited shade ranges still. But if you can find a shade that matches you, they do have some good products. So anyway, let's just get into it. I will leave on the screen right now how much this costs. And yeah, let's just get started. So as always, don't forget to thumbs up the video if you enjoy it. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And now without further ado, let's get right into it. So before I get started with the concealer, I'm going to apply an overall coverage product. I'm just going to use this tinted cream by Essence. This is what I used earlier today for my wear test. So we're just using it again right now. So it's a tinted cream, so it doesn't do too much. It just lightly evens out my skin tone. So now I'm going to use the concealer to cover up any other spots. So I have a red pimple right at the tip of my nose. It was actually really red and sore this morning. It's a lot better now, but this concealer actually did a pretty good job of keeping it covered throughout the day. So I'm just dabbing the concealer on and then I blend it out with the sponge just to show you. I am not a big fan of this sponge. It is too small and too hard. But in a pinch, I mean, you can use it. And I'm also going to apply some underneath my eyes and then a little bit on the chin and around the nose. And I actually prefer to blend this out with my finger. As I said, I find the sponge to just be a bit too hard. I think it blends in quite easily with your finger. And this concealer is marketed as a full coverage concealer, and I do not think it is that. I would say this is more on the light medium side. The consistency is thinner, and it's just definitely not giving that full coverage look. So that's the concealer on. What do you guys think? I think it's quite nice and brightening. The light shade is definitely light. I would say this is more of a fair shade actually. I do feel like it's very weightless on the skin. It doesn't feel heavy at all, and it also doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look cakey or creasy or just thick in any way. So I do actually like the concealer, but it's just marketed all wrong, I think. To call this a full coverage concealer is just very weird to me. It's far from full coverage. And also I don't care for the sponge. But it's not a bad concealer. It's lightweight, it gives some coverage, it brightens. It's not cakey and creasy. So anyway, I'm going to apply the rest of my makeup and I'll be back. Okay, you guys, I have all my makeup on now. So I will say I really do like this concealer. I just think it is very misleading. I do not think they should have advertised this as a full coverage concealer, because I definitely think it's not. I think this would have been better advertised as like a touch-up concealer or like a healthy glow concealer or something like that. Something like geared towards the natural girlies a bit more, because this is much more on the natural side. It's light to medium coverage and it's super lightweight on the skin, and it doesn't look cakey and creasy. And then I would probably skip on the sponge. I just don't think it does a lot. It is too small and too hard to really work properly. I would rather have had more concealer and then missed out on the sponge. And also I do wish that you could get this to go all the way in, because when I have to put on the cap I have to be super careful that I don't like squash the entire concealer. I really hate when like lipsticks especially have this kind of design where a lot of the product is sticking out, because you have to be so careful. You can't just chuck it on and go. You have to really make sure you put this on securely and safely. And another complaint I have about this is that it only comes in 3 shades. 3 shades is just too little. Even though this light shade does work for my fair skin, 3 shades is just too little. So anyway, I will insert the wear test now so you can see how it held up throughout the day. I thought it held up really nicely. I was especially impressed by the fact that it didn't look creasy underneath my eyes throughout the day. I did have some creases, but unless you were up really close, you couldn't tell. For me, that is really my problem area. And a lot of the times it can look super heavy and cakey and crease a whole lot underneath my eyes. But this one looked pretty good for how many hours I wore it. And just a side note, I do have some mascara smudges underneath my left eye. But that's more the fault of the mascara than this concealer. It also covered up the pimple on my nose really well. So I was actually quite pleased with this. And I would totally use it again. And I would recommend it. But as I said, you have to be aware that it is kind of misleading. So anyway, that is all. Let me know what you think of this video down below. And as always, don't forget to thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And that is it. So I will see you guys next Friday for a new video. So until then, take care and bye-bye.
Let go. It's the original.